everybody. My name is Heather Roberts, and I am the founder of eBay Design. We're an indoor-outdoor pillow company and located in North Carolina. So today I wanted to talk about some of the common display mistakes that retailers make. And this is actually a first in a five-part series we're going to be doing to kind of talk about some of the mistakes and things that retailers do that kind of actually cost them a lot of money, which nobody wants that kind of problem. So anyway, if you are just joining us, give you a little bit of my background. Like I said, my name is Heather Roberts, and I am the founder of eBay Design. We're a decorative throw pillow company. Have spent quite a bit of time over the last few years going around, looking at different shops, talking to a lot of small business owners that own, small retail shops, have a couple of chains, designers, and kind of everything in between. And through that, have learned a lot about things. I've just kind of soaked in everything that everybody's been saying, and have learned some things that are some mistakes that folks are making. And I thought, what a great opportunity with Facebook Live now to be able to kind of talk about that and see, if anybody has any other ideas and things that we could share. So I hope if you can, or if you're joining us, you can, put in the comments if you're like, hey, we do this, or hey, this is another great idea. So would love it if you wanted to do that. So today, the mistake we're talking about is not directing traffic in your store in the flow kind of in a counterclockwise direction. In research and in talking to folks, discovered that 90% of Americans, when they come into a store, turn to the right. And it's because 90% of people are right-handed. And not only are they right-handed, but they're right-footed. So when they step into a store, it's with their right foot, and they tend to go that direction. So I'm of the oddball 10% that is left-handed, and it now makes so much more sense of why I don't tend to shop like that. I tend to actually go the opposite way, so I'm the oddball in the situation. Yeah, so 90% of the population is right-handed, and as it correlates, is right-footed. So they tend to go to the right. And when a customer goes into a store and they actually kind of do that, and they head to the right, they tend to look at your right wall at a 45-degree angle. It's kind of like the sweet spot, right? So it's not straight at it. It's not a 90-degree angle. It's at a 45-degree angle. And many folks leave that space kind of it's kind of blank. It's just, there's nothing special going on there. And it's an amazing opportunity to grab your customer right off the bat and bring them into your store. So when you walk in, have something that catches your eye. Maybe it's a little more of a display that's more of a lifestyle display. Maybe, if you have artwork that you sell, you put one of your really stunning pieces of artwork on the wall there. But it is prime real estate. That spot right into your store, couple feet in, 45-degree angle, bam, right there. So that's just a huge opportunity. Another thing that can help people kind of in the flow of traffic stay in your store is when you first walk into the store, you want to have kind of that wider aisle, but you don't want to have that wide aisle through your whole shop, because then you got folks power walking through. And you don't want them to power walk through your store. I mean, everybody knows that, right? You want them to kind of come in the store. You want it to catch their attention with that first display that on the wall, or in that area when you come in, that 45-degree angle area. You want to catch them there. And at that point, you want to maybe start narrowing your aisle space, because that slows the customer down and gives them the chance to kind of meander through your store. And the more they meander through their store, the longer they're going to spend looking at displays. And then that in turn converts into dollars. So, you know, those are kind of two really big keys that just right off the bat can help with conversions. Another thing that a kind of a third mistake that people make when they're bringing folks into their store is that if you come right in the shop, right, and you don't want to have a display of like smack bam, like you're going to run into it. You don't want to do that. That is just turns people off big time. But you want to have something set back a little bit, and you don't want it to be loaded down with product. The more products you have right up there at the front, the tendency is they're like, they'll walk in, they'll step in, they'll go, oh yeah, okay, look, and they'll turn their themselves around and hightail it back out. And we don't want to do that either. So, you know, you want to have kind of a low density display as you come into your store. Give them like a little bit of a taste, you know, some fun things, things that are maybe some good sellers, but you want to keep them so that they're drawn back. And once you draw them back to the back of the store, then that's where you want to have the higher density displays. That's where you want to have more product. That's where you're really going to capture some of your good sales, and some of your best, you know, conversions are going to come from back towards the back of the store. It also makes it so they have to go wind themselves back to leave and get out the front. So so right there, those are just a couple of really big and easy tips. So, you know, the 45-degree angle wall, bam, narrow that aisle once you come in so they meander. Third thing you want to do is you want to have the low density displays towards the front of your store, high density displays towards the back of your store. And then another thing that is really kind of key is to have, you know, the round displays that folks have. You don't want to put those towards the front, because what happens is if you've got those like right towards the front within the first 10 feet of the entrance of your shop, somebody's going to walk around that, and then they put themselves right back in front of the door, and they're going to walk out. Defeats the purpose. So if you're going to use the round displays, which are great because they hold a lot of product, they can be merchandised really well, but you want to put those towards the back, maybe on the back as you're coming back out the store, you know, towards the back. So you've hit the back of the store and you're now rounding the corner, so to speak. You come back, so you put something like a rounded display back there, and that gives folks the opportunity to actually really shop and look all the way around it. So we have a comment about IKEA, and the way IKEA shops their stores or sets up their layout of their stores is, yes, they like have the arrows that direct your traffic, and that's it's very purposeful. Their stores are huge, but if you noticed, the arrows are actually purposeful with small vignettes, and it's the small vignettes that they use that are using to draw you in to shop that area. And they set those vignettes up in a way so it's like almost that bed in a bag concept. You remember the bed in the bag where you have your sham and your duvet or your comforter, and you've got the bed skirt and everything. That's what the vignettes in IKEA do, the exact same thing. It gives you so that you can see, here, everything in this vignette, you can turn around and purchase, oh, by the way, or right here next to you. So that's why they set their stores up like that. And they have, all that. But yeah, they're overwhelmingly huge. And if they didn't have the arrows to direct you through, you'd get lost. You just totally, utterly would get lost. So anyway, thank you for the question. I so appreciate that. So anyway, the kind of one of the last kind of techniques or things that you can do to help increase conversion, and I touched on this briefly, but it's the idea of making sure you have the more narrow aisles, but you also don't want to have like a narrow straight aisle back and straight up, like the military approach, up, down, up, down, up, down. We don't, you don't want to do that. You want to have kind of like the concept of like a flowing river or creek, where you want to have nice little, like little curves and bends that meander their way down. You don't want to have, sharp angles. Those types of things, that's left for like grocery stores, right? Because in that sense, you do need to have the up, down, up, down, up, down. But for just a regular shop, you would much rather not do that. And I can actually provide an example. In my hometown, there is a great little store on downtown Main Street called the Village Store, and Meg is the owner, and she does an incredible job of all of these things. She nails it. And with it, you come in the shop, and she has this very lovely display right when you come in. It catches your eye. It's got all different pieces of like some pewter and local craftsmen and things like that. And so that really ultimately catches your eye, and you then kind of are forced to kind of cut across a little bit and go to the next thing. And then she's got a great little focal point of a display that's probably more of a seasonal type thing, or something that's gonna, that's thematic of a program that they're doing at the time. And then it continues to go down. She also does a great thing where she does not put her checkout at the front of the store. She puts it in the middle, much more welcoming, much more conversational, so that if you're looking for something, they're not out of reach to be able to chat with and talk to. So, and she, also does the same the great idea with the rounded displays. She puts those about 3/4 of the way back to the store, so that you do take the time to spin them around and look at them, or wander around them and look at them. And as you go back in the store, it continually has more product. It's much more, the merchandising is very specific, very thoughtful. So that's just, you can check it out. Go look her up online, the Village Store. But that's a great example of a small retailer who's done an amazing job. So if you've got any other ideas or comments, I'd love to hear them. And, in the meantime, check out our Instagram page, our Instagram feed, our Insta stories. Like us there. Continue watching us. We will be back. I say we, me. We'll be back next Friday, same time, and we're going to talk about one of the second most common mistakes that retailers make, and that's when lighting product and lighting displays and in their store in general. So hope you can join us then, and we will see you then, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye, everybody. Talk to you later.